So I asked you a pretty simple question. Tell me some names of cats and identify which ones you think belong to the same species. I found out last hour I have like some cat aficionados out there. This is you? Are you going to be that cat lady one day with like 20? Yeah. Kitty litter in your cat in your bathtub and all that? No? Oh dear. Okay. So, all the time? Yeah, all of this, that's all she talks about? Final catastrophe in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Fluffy ones. Calico, tabby, tortoiseshell, cheetah, panther, leopard, cat, lion, puma. I only like dogs. There. Okay, well that's not what I asked. If you don't know anything, you could have said I don't know cats. Siamese, Munchkin, short hair, Turkish Angora, Indonesia, Bombay, Siamese, Himalayan, Egyptian, Malay, American, short hair, Scottish, Polish, British, short hair, blue. Is that you? Okay. You forgot polydactyl, calico. Bombay. What's up, Bombay? Siamese, Chinese, Japanese, Mongolian. I don't. Mountain lions. Cougars. Old moms, young dads, right? I don't know if it's okay to call your mom that or not. I'm not sure, but it falls under that. I don't know about that category. So today we're gonna, yeah, we're there. So today we're gonna talk about classifying things and how organisms arise and how we classify them based on similarities and differences. We'll look at the evolutionary past and how we use what's called systemics to look at those. And we're going to look at cladistics and a little bit of phylogeny and how we analyze those. I'm not going to do all the notes today. I'll stop at the cladograms and let you guys work a little bit and just relax, okay? Because I know it's right before break. Yeah, it's Friday, right? So scientists have traditionally used similarities in appearance and structure to group organisms. However, this approach has been problematic. Some groups look similar but turn out to be distantly related, and other groups look different but turn out to be closely related. So if we look at dinosaurs, they were once seen. What? Hold up. Okay. We're not at a bank. Why are we holding? Hold up. So scientists have traditionally used these similarities. A little bit of allergy today. And we look at dinosaurs. We used to think that they were a group of reptiles and that became extinct millions of years ago. But in birds, we're seen as a separate, more modern group that was not related to a reptile group at all. And fossil evidence has convinced scientists that birds evolved from one of many lineages of dinosaurs. And some scientists actually classify birds as a subgroup of dinosaurs. How many of you knew that? The birds and dinosaurs are really cool. Yeah. Okay, you watched Jurassic Park. Okay. All right. So. Should be KFD, right? Instead of KFC. Kentucky Fried Dinosaur. Chickens and dinosaurs are really closely related. It's kind of weird. I think that's $1 million. You could have chicken fried reptiles. KFR. A bucket of reptiles instead of a bucket of chicken. Why not? Have I ever told you guys my $1 million franchise idea? How many of you like Mexican food? Raise your hand. How many of you like Chinese food? Raise your hand. So if we put the two together, I want to have a Chexican restaurant. What? That's like, you could put like your General Pals in there with some rice and a burrito roll or whatever, and that would be good, wouldn't it? See? I don't know if you could do cheese. It's been done? I think so too. And you could order them separate if you wanted to, but they'd all be... Yeah. Yeah. See? I'm telling you. I don't know. I feel like I went way off topic there. Let's take the road. We got to veer back on the highway. So scientists who study systemics are interested in phylogeny or ancestral relationships between species. How are these things ancestrally related? Now, grouping organisms by similarity is often assumed to reflect phylogeny, but inferring phylogeny is extremely complex in practice. You can't just look at things and be like, oh, all those things that have wings are related. That doesn't work. Now, reconstructing a species phylogeny is very much like trying to draw a huge family tree over millions of generations. It gets really complicated really quick. Uh-oh. Somebody's here. So not all similar characteristics are inherited from a common ancestor. We know that. Sometimes things, have a seat, we'll do that later. Something, oh, that's right, okay. This is your lunch? Okay. I forgot he had first lunch. So if I look at the birds of an insect and the wings of an insect and the wings of a bird, they're similar in that they're both wings, but do they have a common ancestor? No, the wings are similar, but one's an invertebrate and one is a vertebrate. Mr. Pike, what are you clicking in your hand? It might be driving me a little crazy. It's like a pen clicking. I think I have OCD. You ever do that? Someone's just clicking or messing with something? Yeah. So both enable flight, but the structures of the two wings are different. Fossil evidence also shows that insects with wings existed long before birds appeared. Go figure, things without a backbone showed up a lot sooner than things without a backbone, or with a backbone. So this is what is called convergent evolution. When things do not have a common ancestor, like the wings of a bird and the wings of an insect, are converging. Two different lines crossing is convergence. So these are two different ancestral lineages existing in the same habitat, meaning they both have to fly, but they don't have a common ancestor. So we say that they are analogous characteristics. They might have a similar habitat or lifestyle, but they are analogous, meaning not related. If they are related, we say homologous. Everybody say homologous. Homologous do have ancestral connections, whereas the analogous ones do not. Analogous means convergence took place. Homologous means that what's called divergence took place. Sounds like that book. Divergence. I did. I read it with my daughter. It was okay. So grouping organisms by similarity is subjective, meaning I might think things are related and you might not. So some scientists may think that one character is important while others do not. So if we look at systematics, historically we'll place birds in a separate class from reptiles, giving importance to characteristics like feathers. We now know that's not as important. And fossil evidence now shows that birds are considered part of the family tree of dinosaurs. So we look at birds and we see, oh, they're actually a descendant of the dinosaurs. And this family tree or phylogenetic tree represents a hypothesis of the relationships between several groups. You guys remember Aves, the Avis paparis, the flightless origami bird that didn't fly? So the next thing we need to look at is what is called cladistics. This is a method of analysis that infers phylogeny by careful comparisons of shared characteristics. And cladistics is an objective method that unites systematics with phylogenetics. And cladistic analysis is used to select the most likely phylogeny among a given set of organisms. So this time we're going to use what's called outgroups. So the second something doesn't have something, we leave it in its own group, and when we get something new, we put it in a new group. I'll show you what that looks like in just a little bit. But this focuses on finding characters that are shared between different groups because of shared ancestry. So us all having a backbone would be one of these derived characters, or shared characteristics. And a shared character is defined as ancestral if it is thought to have evolved in a common ancestor of both groups. So a derived character is one that evolved in a group but not the other. What's going on? Unload it and load it. Oh, you know how to do it, right? Do you know how to do it? No, wait for me. I'll be there in a minute. Stay right here. So a derived character is one that evolved in one group but not the other. So if we look at the production of seeds and how they're present in some plants but not others, very early plants did not have seeds. Seed production is going to be a shared ancestral characteristic among some plants. Now the production of flowers is a derived character that is only shared by flowering plants. So flowers are relatively new because they involve sexual reproduction. You've all heard of the birds and the bees, the flowers and the trees, right? And cladistics infers relatedness by identifying shared derived and ancestral characteristics among groups while avoiding the analogous ones. So analogous do not have a common ancestor and are said to be related through convergence, not divergence. Yep, just unplug it there. So they construct a cladogram to show relationships between groups. And a cladogram is a phylogenetic tree that's drawn in a very specific way. And I gave you one, I believe, in your notes. Might not have, though. I can't remember if I put one in there or not. Did I put one in there? Yeah, there's one in there. So organisms are grouped together through identification of their shared derived characters. And all groups that arise from one point on a cladogram belong to a clade. It sounds a lot like a clan, right? Like a group. And a clade is a set of groups that are related by descending from a single ancestral lineage. Will you do me a favor and actually, I don't want to have you do anything because I think I know what's going on with it. I think the tube probably came out, but I'll just wait. It'll take me like 30 seconds. So each clade is usually compared with an outgroup or group that lacks some of the shared characteristics. And if you look at your cladogram I gave you in your notes, you'll see conifers and flowering plants form a clade, and ferns form the outgroup. So hopefully this is the one I gave you. Now if I take a look at mosses reproduce asexually. They kind of clone each other. Ferns have spores. They go through that alternation of generation that we talked about, very similar to fungus. And then pine trees, they have seeds, but they don't have flowers, so flowers form their own group. So every time I have something new and the other group does not, we form a new group. So if I looked at the evolution of plants, this would be it. Starting with moss, like early bryophytes on Earth, slime mold, things like that, and then ferns, and then pine trees where we start to have pollen and ovaries. You guys know pine trees have two different types of cones. There's the big ones, the little ones. Megaspores, the big ones, those are the ovaries, the eggs. Right, and the small ones are the microspores, and that's the male, that's the sperm. Pine trees don't have flowers because they release a lot of pollen. Anybody allergic to pine pollen? I am. They release a ton of it at one time. It covers your cars. They don't have like birds and bees to do their pollination, so they just release a lot of sperm at one time and kind of just spray it all over the place. So it finds a female. Well, it goes close to there. We all see it, right? It gets released. It's pollen. That's what sperm is, guys. Pollen, sperm, pollen. Same thing. And then hopefully it finds the female micro or megaspore. And flowers, they've got a special organ where they can attract a bee or a bird, and they can move the pollen form, so they have less pollen, right? They don't just release it at one time. It's that yellow stuff that lands on your car this time of year. Maybe a little bit earlier. I think it's already done its deed. So. All right. I'm going to stop there. I think that's